tonight we've got all the things going. So Zoom, Instagram, and Facebook, which is exciting. So I'm gonna give it a few minutes and see who's coming in. Tonight, if you're just tuning in randomly, tonight is my Yamas class, and the Yamas are the first limb of yoga. And so if you're not familiar with the limbs of yoga, what we think of a lot of times in the Western world as yoga, which is mostly the physical poses, are just the third limb of yoga. And when I learned that, I thought, what was I supposed to be doing for the first and second one before I got to the third limb? And so I think it's really fun to learn about the other limbs and kind of explore them. The Yamas specifically, and I look like I have some people on Facebook, but I can't tell who it is. So let me see if I can make the people pop up. I haven't used Facebook in so long. There we go. Hi friends, awesome. So, so the Yamas are the first limb of yoga, and like I said, there's 8. So I like to call the Yamas like how you should treat the world and everyone in it, and it's just kind of like, how to be a good person in the world. So I think it's really interesting to learn all these things, and if people are enjoying the first limb of yoga, then we can do the second limb of yoga after that, and we can do the other limbs. I think that would be really fun. So let me go ahead, whoever's already with me, hi Trisha, and let's just take a moment before we start talking about the second Yama, this is our second class about the Yama, so we're going to do the second one tonight. Before we do that, let's just take a moment and gather ourselves and become present. So however you're sitting, and you don't have to sit like me on the floor, you can be sitting in a chair, wherever you are, it's totally fine. I encourage you to sit somewhere where you can hold your spine long and not just like slouch against something, but as long as you can breathe freely, that's really what I'm looking for. So however you're sitting, just let your hands rest on your knees, and let's close our eyes. Take a nice big long inhale and a nice long exhale. And just let your awareness settle there onto your breath. And maybe let your breath grow a little bit longer and a little bit deeper. Just keep your awareness there on your breath for a few moments, following your inhale in, following your exhale out. And just like we were talking about the first limb of yoga, the second limb, the third limb is the poses. The fourth limb is actually breath work or energy work, but we use our breath to move our energy about. And so even just coming on a daily basis and taking a few breaths, a few conscious breaths, you're doing yoga. Maybe nobody's ever told you that before, but just finding a few breaths. And one of the things I love about breath is that we can use it to our advantage. We can manipulate our breath to change how we're feeling, but also that our breath is always there for us to check in with before we start to manipulate it. If we're feeling stressed, we might be breathing really quickly or really short. If we're feeling calm or relaxed, we might be taking longer, deeper breaths. And so our breath can be there sometimes when we aren't even noticing our own being, our own stress, or our own whatever's going on. Our breath can be there as this little reminder of truth and honesty. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, truth and honesty. But just take a few more breaths and just notice how it feels. And then set an intention for the next few minutes. We're not going to be here very long tonight, but just set an intention. That intention might be to learn something. It might be to relax and feel calm. It could be anything you can think of. We're not going to do a whole bunch of physical yoga tonight, but whatever intention you can think of for yourself, it's just for you. As always, you don't have to share it, but whatever it is, hold it in the space of your heart and just take a few more nice long breaths. you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. So I can see some friends on Instagram. For some reason I can't see. Oh, there we go. Hi, Jana. Yes, you can do this later. I will post the video later. So awesome. So, and you can just watch right now and not do the meditations. That's totally okay too. I'm so glad that you're here though. So, like I said, tonight is the second class of my Yamas series, and the Yamas are the first limb of yoga. And so last week, if you joined in the Yamas class, we talked about the first of the 5 Yamas. So there's 5 sort of principles of the Yamas, just how you're supposed to treat the world and everyone in it. If you missed that class, you can go back and watch it on my YouTube channel very easily and catch up with that. But the first of the 5 Yamas is called Ahimsa, and it means loving kindness, just like, being nice to people. And I love that that comes first because that's the most important. No matter what you're doing, be loving and kind. And that also applies to yourself, and we talked about that last week. We talked about being strong in yourself, giving yourself that love first, and then being able to lead with your heart as you go out into the world. And so tonight we're going to talk about the second of the Yamas, and the second of the Yamas is called Satya. And Satya means truthfulness or honesty. And just like Ahimsa, I think it's easy to see, this is how we should be in the world. We should be honest. We should tell the truth. It's really, really important. For me, it's one of those things, like once somebody lies to me or isn't truthful, I have a really tough time dealing with them. But like just beyond that, it's if we're respecting each other, and really if we get down to it in yoga terms, if we're understanding that we're all connected, we're all part of one big consciousness, one big reality happening, being honest with each other becomes even more important. But just like with the Ahimsa, I want to make sure that we emphasize being honest with ourselves, because a lot of times I think that's where we struggle, and it's a lot more subtle, I think, sometimes when you're not being honest with yourself. Things like, am I in a certain career because my parents think I should be, or, this is what society thinks I should do, or is there something else I'd really rather be doing with my life, or am I going out to this event because I think people are going to judge me if I don't go, but I'd really like to just stay home and snuggle with my dog. Like those might seem like slightly trivial examples, one maybe more trivial than the other, but all these things where, I don't know if you can hear my hedgehog, but he totally woke up and now he's making sounds. Anyway, a little distraction. But all these things are really, really important, and when we come and become honest with ourselves, then acting in the world and being honest with other people is so much more easy. So we're going to do one little physical yoga thing today. Sorry, my phone is giving messages. We're going to do one little physical yoga thing, and don't worry, you don't have to have any yoga experience to do it, and it's not going to be hard, and you're not going to break a sweat or anything like that. So wherever you are, if you can get down on the ground, it works the best on the ground. So I'm going to go and get on my mat, and here is what we're going to do today. So laying on your mat, and this is something that kind of like last week, we talked about leading with our heart, we talked about engaging the core, and my idea was that you can take those ideas and use them in your practice as you go forward with another teacher or with me or on your own or whatever. And so the same thing is happening tonight. So this is something I want you just to take with you so you can use. And we're going to actually build on part of what we did last week. We talked about core engagement, but we didn't really get deep into it. We just said we need to engage our core. So tonight we're going to get down to what does that really mean? So when we think about that honesty, it really is, what is the truth in your core, right? What's the truth of your being? And then how can you make sure that that truth is what you're projecting out into the world and that you're giving that truth to other people. So take your first 2 fingers, if you're laying on your back like me, feet on the ground, hip distance apart, take your first 2 fingers and find your hip bones. And if you're like me and you've been eating too much food during quarantine already, it might be a little squishy, but that's okay. You can find your hip bones. So find your hip bones, wiggle your fingers in about an inch or so, and then we might be even more squishy, but that's still okay. And then push down a bit, so you're pushing down through the squish or whatever it is there, and just with your fingers pushing down. We're gonna do something really, really serious here in a second. I just want you to go ahead and start laughing. So get a good laugh, have a giggle, and feel those muscles that are underneath your fingers, I hope, engage. Those are your deep core muscles. So in yoga, we often are not as worried about making six-pack abs. I certainly don't have six-pack abs right now, but those deep core muscles are what we really want to turn on. Now, you can keep your first two fingers there and you can keep on laughing if you want to, but I'm going to tell you a couple other ways to turn those muscles on. The one way for all of my women friends who are here, my goddess friends who are here, is to do a Kegel. So when you engage your pelvic floor muscles, you lift the pelvic floor, you usually naturally engage all these deep core muscles, and we really, really want that when we go through our yoga practice. Another way as you lay here on the ground is to lift your toes, press into your heels, and if you're on your sticky mat, just try to slide yourself up towards your head. You're not going to move because you're stuck on the floor. You move just a little bit, and you should feel those muscles engage also. Okay, if you're on your back with me, go ahead, hug your knees into your chest. Just give yourself a little love. Maybe rock side to side and see how it feels. And then your choice, you can roll over to your right, or you can rock and roll, and we'll sit up. And I'm going to come back up to my little meditation cushion. Awesome. So this idea of Satya, honesty, truthfulness, that's really what the second of the Yamas is all about. And so we'll have a little meditation here for the end of class tonight. And it kind of is trying to get at that idea, what is the truth behind what we really are. So let's go ahead, let our hands rest on our knees, and we can just close our eyes. Take a nice easy inhale, and a nice easy exhale. And just feel the truth of your breath flowing in and out, reminding you of the truth that you are alive and you are here. And at least in this moment right now, you are okay. You are breathing, and you are well. And so as you're here and you're breathing tonight, I'm going to offer you a mantra. And a mantra is a word or a phrase that we'll repeat with our breath. So if you haven't meditated with me before, know that there are many, many different ways of meditating. And if you try a certain way and it doesn't feel good, or doesn't seem like it's something that you're enjoying, know that there's different ways to meditate. And I will say, I don't do mantra meditation very often. It's not a huge part of my practice, but I wanted to do it with us all together tonight. And so the mantra that we're gonna offer up, or that I'm gonna offer up for you to repeat in your mind, or you're home maybe by yourself. So if you want to say it out loud, you can, but usually we repeat them in our mind. And there's a couple different ways that this mantra goes. The more classic way is that on the inhale you say on the inhale you say so, and on the exhale you say hum. I like it the opposite way, and my teacher usually teaches it the opposite way too. And so on the inhale we say hum, and on the exhale we say sa. And so that's the mantra I'm going to offer to you tonight. So every time you inhale, just quietly in your mind think hum, and as you exhale, think sa. And just try that for the next few minutes. Inhaling hum, exhaling exhaling Sa. Just go ahead and keep repeating the mantra quietly in your mind. I wanted you to experience it for at least a couple breaths first before sharing with you that all this mantra means is I am, or sometimes we say, I am that. And so we can think about, and if you were in one of my classes, I think my mythology class this week, we thought about who is it that knows that I am thinking. But for this mantra, just I am or I am that. And we can think about what does that mean? I am Hamsa. I think in a really simple way, it invites us to get at the truth of ourselves way deep down below everything else. You know, who is it? What is it that I am if you take away, my clothes I usually wear? In my case, if you take away my blue hair, if you take away the things that I normally do, which is happening for a lot of us right now, what is it? What is that I am that lies underneath it all? Hamsa. And let's go ahead and bring our hands to touch at our heart. If you were with me at the beginning and you set an intention, take a moment and take your mind back to it without any judgment, of course. Just check in with yourself, see how it went. And then most importantly, of course, as always, take a moment and honor the light that exists within you and thank yourself for being here this evening or this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. I thank you all for being here with me as well. And I honor the light within you and within all beings. Namaste. So please use that mantra if it felt good for you. It's a great mantra to use in meditation. Mantra meditation is really a great way for those of us like me, myself. If your mind wanders in meditation and you think about a whole bunch of other things, giving your mind a mantra, something to say, something to stick to, can be a great way of easing those wild thoughts and fluctuations in your mind. So, please use this mantra Hamsa if it's helpful for you. All right, it was so wonderful seeing everybody on Facebook and Instagram. Just a reminder, I've got a few classes going on now throughout the week. I have a Sunday midday class on mythology and meditation, which I think is really fun. I've got a basics class on Monday nights, this class is on Thursday, I have a chair yoga class on Wednesdays, and then a connections class where we kind of also meditate. It's kind of like this class, but not quite as directed, and that class kind of bounces around. I'm open to other classes too. I've been thinking about a full vinyasa class, so let me know if people are interested in that. But you can check out all the information for all the classes at jincarter.com/online, and you're always welcome to be in class for free, of course. Please share them with other people if you think other people would enjoy them. If you do want to donate, I would really, really appreciate it, and if you want to do that, you can go jincarter.com/donate. But please come to class no matter what. Don't feel like you you have to donate. I hope everybody's doing really well with this whole quarantine thing. I know really well might be a stretch, but that's my hope for all of you. Embrace this time with yourself and with your families, and if there's anything that I can do to help you during this time, please reach out to me and let me know. I'm always happy to help in whatever capacity I can, and if I can't figure out how to help, I will find someone who can. So please do reach out if you need me. All right, everyone, have a great night if you're on the East Coast. If you're somewhere else, have a great day, and I will see you all again soon. Aloha and namaste.